Hi, howdy, hello everybody, it's me, Jonesy from Fortnite. Get your favorite blanket, your favorite sitting spot, and get a little bit cozy because today we're gonna bask ourselves in the glorious nostalgia of the past and also the present too. In today's episode, in honor of a list week that's currently ongoing, we're gonna take a look at 15 things I think every single world needs. From compact automatic farms to giant manual titans to tiny little build tricks like maybe this bed right here, I feel like I've really got it all covered today. And hey, speaking of beds, I feel like a bed is the perfect spot to start. Every good world needs a bed. Okay, look, I value your time, you're my good friend. I'm not gonna waste your time with, a bed, a crafting table, hey, maybe make a furnace to advance your world. No. Instead of just plain old beds, maybe you get that trusty red bed, or even better, every single world, to make that experience even better, needs a bed like this, or a bed like this, or maybe just maybe even a bed kind of like this right here. We're talking beds, but more specifically, we're talking convenient beds. If you like to set up your base, kind of like I like to set up my base, with like big city, big buildings all over the place in the open air, the sweet, tasty Cherry Grove air? Well, if that's you and you like to play in your world, do things, maybe like build, then all of a sudden it becomes nighttime. Well, if that's you, you would know that one of the most annoying things of all time is getting in that building zone, getting in that grind, and then boom, all of a sudden it's nighttime. You gotta pause, you gotta go find a bed somewhere because you lost yours, is not in the inventory, and just generally all around and passively annoying. What I like to do when building literally any of my worlds, this one or the past worlds that I've done before, is station some bed benches around the world in convenient spots that are like kind of central, kind of wherever I'm doing projects at the time. I've got a bed over there by the nether portal. I have a bed right over here next to the big farm that I like to harvest from time to time. I promise I harvest this farm. I have a game for you. Down below in the comments, I want to hear something that you think every single world needs to have. To spice it up a little bit, try to avoid the obvious answers, like yes, every world needs a food farm. If your answer is food farm, that's cool, but instead of plain old food farm, maybe get a little bit more specific. What kind of food? After I drop this episode, I'll be scouring the comments for the best and only the best answers for some of the next projects that I'm gonna take on coming up here. No pressure, that answer, it could be anything. Could be a farm, could be an item, or maybe it could be a very specific and beautiful build. Spawn, sweet spawn. The second thing I think every single world needs is a good and solid starter house. Now, the starter house could be really anywhere. It could be way back over at spawn, or it could be over where you decide to make your main base. It doesn't matter the location, but the point here is a good, maybe a little slightly less dusty, more kept up, sweet starter house. My friends, this is the end of the year, which means this is that nostalgic season. Now, I don't know about you, but at least for me, I get in the field. My nostalgia right at the end of the year, like thinking back where I was at the beginning, which was actually this world where I came and where I ended up right at the end of the world. Ah, you want the slime ball, really? The deceased friend? No. I get feeling that nostalgic glow, and I thought it would be fun to take a look back at some of the past worlds because actually, believe it or not, in some of these past seasons, there are some things that I've done that I haven't gotten around to inside of the guide world quite yet that made my life like so much easier. For this one, it's all about that sweet starter house. So not that I haven't gotten around to a starter house in our world, obviously I have, but this starter house, I miss this so much. I need an excuse to build this giant boat, maybe even flying still inside of our world right now because I have so much like nostalgia for this. Like doing the intros of the survival series, the outros, whatever, looking around at the base after I would like do a build inside of this world coming up to the ship, it was one of my favorite things. I think this starter house that I'm standing in right now, the starter ship, is gotta be my favorite starter house of all time. I know it all too well. You make a new world, you're so excited, you start doing things, and then you get sidetracked with maybe a different thing. Then all of a sudden, your world feels cluttered, chaotic, all over the place, and you end the world. Game over, and you start over again. By kicking your world off, right, with like maybe taking some time and designing a beautiful build, you are never going to want to leave that world. You'll be a little bit more determined to try and make things work, stick around, and, just all together, stay a while. Now, one thing that I built over here at this beautiful mountain, which side note, did I have a name for this mountain? I can't remember anymore. Oh, the world record project. Yeah, I can't remember if we had a name for this whole like base vibe in general, but the thing that I had over at this base that I desperately need over at my new one inside of the guide is a mine, a proper place where you could head deep down low and start like branch mining, or maybe even just head into the caves and look around, find the deep dark biome. with a proper and convenient mine set up in your world, something that is maybe located right at your base that is easy to get down. It could be a giant chunk cleared out, or maybe just a simple ladder, bubble elevator situation. Well, owning one of those things is going to make your life so much easier when you're trying to work on a redstone machine, and then all of a sudden you realize you ran out of redstone. Or you need to find a little bit more diamonds because your armor is about to break. Storage. Storage is a very important part of Minecraft. Survival, I guess, maybe creative mode, maybe. I'm sure adventure mode, I don't know, I don't play that. But the storage is very important. You need to get the storage situation maybe a little bit more figured out than what I have figured out over here. It's slightly chaotic, to say the least. And even back over at the house that we'll, I'm sure, be back to at some point in the episode, the storage room, it is a little bit more organized, but it's still really not up to par. When I say you need organized storage, I mean... Well, look, you know what I mean. There's only one building we could go to. It's time we take a trip, a little walk down memory lane, back over to one of my favorite places of all time. The tears are welling up in my eyes. No, I'm not crying. It's raining. But why is it raining inside? That makes no sense. My ceiling. I should get that checked out. I don't know why it's raining inside. Wow. Okay, wait, hold up. So, wow, Pam, Yellow. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, you've been guarding the map wall for the whole time. It's kind of crazy to think that this world, like, I was in it for so long. Maybe, well, I guess 2,000 days. Literally 2,000 days. I would love to come back here and take a look around at some point, but my big point for this one, organized storage, is my best storage building that I have ever built. I need to build one in the new world desperately. The storage cathedral. Oh, cash and bam, right there. I knew you were somewhere, but big storage room with individual chests for every single block that you tend to have in the game. You could even add maybe extra ones for like future updates or whatever, but at least if you can get organized chests for like, say, diamonds, netherite, you know, the stuff that you currently have, it's gonna make your life a whole lot easier. Inside of my storage buildings, I also like to design extra like overflow storage for when you have like, I don't know, stacks and stacks and stacks of cobblestone, or maybe like logs or something. Every single world needs a good storage building. And speaking of good storage building, I really do feel like this is maybe one of my first, like, truly, really good builds. I mean, I feel like, you know, there are some other builds that I might have built beforehand that are nice and everything, but this cathedral, I am so impressed with it and so happy, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I could, like, looking at it now, top it nowadays and make it even better. So maybe I should get around to that soon. A very big part of Minecraft is traveling around, at least how I like to play, with like different buildings laid out at a base and like maybe even different bases, everything like that. If you're gonna set up something like that, 100%, you're gonna need to have a good and efficient transport system inside of your world. Now, a good and efficient transport system, berry collection out now. Depending on what you've got going on, a good and efficient transport system could mean a couple different things. That could mean maybe just paths connecting your buildings around your base. If you're living out on the ocean or something, maybe that could mean a big river and like proper docks or something so you can like connect everything, build a canal. But hands down, my favorite type of transport system, you already know the answer. My favorite type of transport system that I genuinely feel that every world needs is some kind of nether, ice road, boat road situation. And now this one is a little bit of a 2-in-1 because not only does it make travel easier, but really to me, it makes the idea of doing other random projects easier too. Like for example, let's say the wonderful swamp project. I up my render distance all the way right here. Let's see if I can actually see the swamp thing from over here. I wonder. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. I knew it was just a matter of time. You can totally see the giant, the witch farm saucer over there. Gertrude's Landing, officially named. From like the spawn, the sky tower. Oh, that's so cool. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here with this one is imagine trying to build something like, say, a swamp outpost and not having a good travel system. You'd have to make like a road or a path all the way back and forth, and that would be really annoying, especially for me, over thousands of blocks. Next time you don't know what to do in your world but you want to play the game, maybe take a little bit of time and build another transport system. Next up on our list today is something that I'm proud to say is something I think I've really only properly, fully done inside of this world that we're in right now, and I feel like I actually did it really, really well too. That first section of the series, the part of the series that I made a movie, part 1 and part 2, well, no. The first part of the series was highly focused on sweet little Spawn over here. We took a little bit of time and ran through the earliest part of Minecraft, from starting out in a world to taking on the Ender Dragon. While we were taking our time in that part of the series, we also took a little bit of time to build up world Spawn and get it nice, safe, and good. Just in case any kind of accident, maybe like ever happens. It can't happen. It will never happen. No accidents will ever happen, but we have spawn good, safe, and lit up. At the least, most absolute, laziest, and basic, to secure spawn, just light it up. Run around with a couple chunks around it, put torches down, leave a bed here, so, you know, just in case, and you're good to go. At the most high effort, fanciest, maybe set up like a basic camp here, some things you might want to have. Maybe you want to like respawn and grab some potions really quick. Make a brewery. Maybe you want to have a little bit of time to like stop and smelt things up, say your food. Well, add a food farm conveniently over here, and maybe even a smeltery too. Spend a little bit of time in your world. When you don't know what to do, go back over to World Spawn and build a small base. Well, that is, if your main base isn't already over at World Spawn. Secure it, make it nice and safe just in case, because you always never know. Back over at the beautiful Cherry Grove for this next one. I feel like a very modern thing that every single world should have is a good solid bamboo farm. It could be a relatively small, compact, automatic one like I have right here that'll just get you bamboo for free. Kind of like what we're doing in the hardcore series right now. Even a small, simple manual bamboo farm or a big one. A bamboo farm is really, really great to have nowadays because, I mean, it's like free bamboo, and bamboo is so useful ever since Minecraft 1.20. I mean, 9 solid stacks of bamboo. This sounds like a whole lot. It's really not that hard to get from an automatic bamboo farm, especially if you're doing other things at the same time while this farm is running. 9 stacks of bamboo turn solidly into 1 stack of bamboo logs, and then you can turn those bamboo logs, say, into bamboo planks, and then maybe into sticks or something, or just in general, have bamboo to build with. A bamboo farm. It's one of the modern greats. All the way back over at World Spawn again, getting whiplash so much back and forth, but all the way back over at World Spawn again for this next one, a basic XP farm. Every single world needs one. It is inevitable. Eventually in Minecraft, you will want to make a good axe named Arthur, or maybe perfect, beautiful, cracking diamond armor. I need to take this on and fix it. Ugh. It's inevitable. Eventually, you're going to want to do a little bit of enchanting or maybe a tiny bit of mending inside of your world. To pull it off, a basic experience farm can get you started. If you have to mend like pieces and pieces and pieces, maybe build a better experience farm for that. But if you're looking to like just bump your levels up a little bit so you can do some basic enchanting, a simple basic farm, like say a zombie spawner farm, it's going to be more than good enough. Also, there is the loot aspect of the farm too. Like maybe building a zombie farm, you get rotten flesh, then you set up a villager farm to sell the rotten flesh and get emeralds. Or you get like these extra drops. Maybe you need a piece of potato. Build a zombie farm for it. It's definitely one of the, it's definitely one of the ways. Or maybe even spend a little bit more time and build some kind of beautiful, gigantic XP farming titan that'll get you all the levels you need in a literal matter of minutes. This farm right here, this old trusty farm, nowadays, I probably wouldn't build it like this. I think this big giant style is a little out of date, but it is a way that you could build a giant, massive gold farm inside of your world, and even better, maybe queue that gold farm up with a little bit of extra storage and an enchanting setup too, so you could use the levels like literally right away. This is specifically one of those builds inside of this world that holds so much nostalgia for me. Like, I feel like I can vividly remember just yesterday walking around over here and like, you know, making an episode talking about whatever I was talking about at the time, and wow. Not even a joke anymore. I guess I really wasn't ready for this episode. Wow, this is like so nostalgic and emotional. This is definitely one of those projects to take on maybe once you're a little bit later on, solid and sturdy inside of your world, but take a little bit of time and build some kind of massive experience farm. A gold farm, in my opinion, is one of my favorite ones to build because it gets you a whole lot of gold, which is decently useful, but also it's like really, really big and relatively simple to build too. 2/3 of the way through the list today. Spot number 10 on the list. Speaking of a list week. If by chance, maybe you're newer around here, List Week is a yearly tradition I've been kicking off over on this channel since, well, since long before Burr was doing any interdimensional travels or anything like that. I think I've been doing it maybe like 3 years, maybe 4 years now at this point. We do it every year. Near the end of the year, there's a week of like a bunch of videos. It could be like everything in 1.21 like I dropped before, or it could be like this video right here. Spot number 10, a big project. We start out small, we start out very humble. When it comes to the big projects that I've ever taken on, this is one of the smallest big projects I've ever done. The cookie farm, the giant cookie farm. I built this in like episode number 30, I think, as like a celebration of the new base, everything like that. A big wheat farm in general is one of those ones that I really like to do. I feel like wheat is pretty useful. After all, nowadays you could use it to make mud, or you could just use it to make giant hay bale monster, whatever you want to do. Wheat is nice to have, so maybe build like a giant field of it. Or for your big project, maybe go big, go home, you know, go for the big like world record. And build the world's biggest beet farm ever. You know, I can't lie, ever since starting the new Minecraft Guide series, I had upgraded my computer, and I could have, like, higher render distance now. I usually play on 32, and this looks a whole lot smaller with 32 render distance. I can see the whole field, see a couple missing blocks, but yeah, I can see the whole field now. I used to not only be able to, like, I played with, like, 8 chunks and couldn't see the whole field, you know what I'm saying? Pick some sort of large-scale project inside of your world, whether it's a farm or just a gigantic build, maybe a big flat area, and do that. Now, I don't really necessarily recommend going crazy insane and doing it all in one sitting. This thing, bad memories doing this project, not fun. Maybe instead, like, do it at your own pace. Say, like, hey, inside of this world, I'd like to have a giant beet farm, and I'm gonna work on it over time. When, again, I wanna jump into my world and play Minecraft, but I don't know what to do, so I guess I'll farm beets until I get inspiration, you know? Because of the projects that it enables a little bit later on inside of your world, one of the greatest builds to build, and maybe even build a little bit earlier on, is some sort of villager breeder. Villager breeders are so simple. Like, look at this thing. It's 2 villagers. There's a couple beds behind the wall over there, 3 specifically, and literally a farmer. That's it. We have the farmer villager walk around, harvest the crops, it'll share, and they'll make the sweet love, make the baby every once in a while. It's pretty cool. If you're gonna end up building a villager breeder inside of your world, maybe make sure you don't accidentally overrun that villager breeder and, like, crash lag out your whole world because you let it run too much. Be mindful of that, but you know, you want to maybe build automatic potato machine inside of your world. Maybe you want to build automatic bone meal machine, or maybe even, heck, you just want to build an iron farm. Where was my iron farm, by the way? Oh, it's all coming back to me. That's right. I built it up on the mountain. Originally, when I had started this world, I planned on, like, building up in the mountain. I was going to build this whole, like, blue warped wood themed village over here, but then I kind of, like, chickened out. I backed out of the project. But anyways, iron farm too. Maybe we'll talk about that more later. I don't know. Anyways. So super smelter. So, taking a look at this world, looking around here, super smelter. Did I ever get around to building a super smelter inside of this world? Yeah, help me out. Did I build a super smelter? What was this building? Was this, this was tiny sugarcane farm. Okay, yeah, that was a thing. Villager breeder. A snow farm, hero of the village farm, super smelter. I know this is just the jungle base, and we did even more at other bases, but I don't think I ever got around to building a super smelter in this world. I know I haven't in current world, and I know I didn't in Minecraft Survival either. Wow. Super smelters. I have no clue why I haven't really built one inside of any world at all within the past 3 years or more even, but super smelters are one of those things that are insanely easy to build and also super useful. The setup is pretty simple. It's a furnace with the input up top, fuel on the side, and output on the bottom. 3 hoppers to reach 1 furnace, or if you want to make it for, like, food, you can put a smoker in there, or maybe for ores, a blast furnace as well, whatever you want to do. Super smelters are great to have inside of your world for those big scale projects, like, say, super gold farm, where you need a lot of glass. Maybe giant stone brick city, and you only have cobblestone, you need to smelt it up. It's the topic that we'll definitely end up talking about, maybe even soon, I guess, who knows, but a super smelter is one of the greatest things of all time that you could build inside of your world. And maybe scale it up with, like, minecarts, make it a super giant system, or I guess keep it nice, small, and compact. Whatever you want to do. Our next great thing to have inside of your world goes hand in hand with that last one, and it's a nice, simple little farm too. The beautiful lava farm. The lava farm. I'm so grateful of my past self for building this thing so early on because it's been so nice to have. Like, literally anytime I'm trying to do any smelting inside of this world, like over here at the base, all I need to do is run over here, grab a bucket of lava, or just take it out of this whole setup right there, and then I'm basically good to go. Fuel, or more specifically like coal, blaze rods, is one of those things where it's like not too hard to get a lot of, but maybe a little bit annoying to get a lot of. Like for coal, you're gonna probably end up having to go down to the mines, or for the blaze thing, you gotta go all the way over to your blaze farm, whatever. If you build a simple lava farm with a tiny bit of dripstone, lava above it and a cauldron down below, and it literally just exists, well, you build one of those, and then literally anytime you need to smelt stuff up, like all the stone I had to do for the project, you just literally run over to this thing and it's free. Best fuel in the entire game. And also, now that I think about it, obsidian too. It's a really easy way to farm a lot of obsidian, or a decent amount, if you need to. No. We're right, what do we walk over to right before the lava farm? Yes. Look, there's no way I couldn't put it in here, but I don't need to say much about it. An iron farm, a wonderful titan to get you so many sweet flowers, or maybe even iron. Yeah, iron comes from the iron farm too. Ah, one of those things. Maybe my favorite iron farm that I've ever built probably does not come as a surprise is the one that I built inside of this world. I feel like the whole zone around is so tight and concise. It looks so good. I like the whole foggy glass trick that I pulled off right there, and then like how the iron farm drops straight down into this almost like cave system or whatever. It's pretty cool. Iron farm for free iron, which is like you could literally use for anything in the world, hoppers, big farms, or maybe even building blocks. I mean, why not? And so it's time for none other than the comment of the day. Today's comment of the day is all about the sugarcane farm, calling out mangrove roots is a great block for waterlogging when building these kinds of farms. Not only is it like a fully solid and good to go block, but yeah, you can like waterlog it and the water stays inside of it. A beautiful, genius idea. Remember the mangrove root, don't sleep on it for farms where you need waterlogged or maybe even for cobblestone generators as well. They're pretty useful. And so here we are, we've done it. The finale, the final thing that I feel like every world needs. This one is a little bit less of like a super useful build or crazy farm or big project that you can work on when you're like bored inside of your world, and more of just like a really cool, nice thing to have. I think I built this literally in the finale episode of this whole series right here, Minecraft Survival, but a big map wall. A big map wall, hands down, is one of the coolest things that you could ever build inside of your world. I mean, like, look at this thing. It can't just be me. They're like, so, like, I could spend hours just standing here and, like, looking at all the details and, you know, the builds that I built inside of this world from this sky. I don't know. It's just so cool looking to me. Like it's a whole different perspective on your world. And maybe if you're inside of a world where you're still, like, actively building or something, build the map wall earlier and you could see, like, okay, I kind of have, like, a main path cutting diagonally through this entire world. Maybe I can start expanding off of that diagonal path or something with, like, new farms and builds that I want to build. A side note, I never really noticed that before. We built on just a solid diagonal line, basically. Map wall, map wall, map wall. They're so fun to make. They're beautiful. I need to get an elytra. Should I do that next in the guide? Is it time for an elytra and time for a giant map wall? They're so much easier to make from the sky. Anyways, 15 things you need inside of your world. Now, of course, there are so many other things that you would want to have inside of your world. Say cow crusher farm, villager farm, whatever you want to have. Minecraft is an endless game, which means there's endless possibilities. There are so many other things you could build inside of your world to set yourself up for success. Name one of them down below. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a little bit different. For early access to every single one of these episodes, become a patron today. And for world downloads, channel member. Tap join for more info. Until next time, it's been me, Waddles. Goodbye, everyone.